Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Giesland. I'm not a financial or tax expert. I'm a real estate investor that has benefited from real estate in several different ways and just trying to pass on information if you're interested in the slightest way. So, topic today is no expenses, just understanding what you're stepping into before you have to call and get a bill or an invoice for whatever is needed. So a couple things I want to touch on today is an AC unit. I had 3 units that we had to replace a few years ago. They were $6,500 each. So that definitely cuts into the old piggy bank there. After 2 years, now they were COVID years, but after 2 years, they went from $6,500 to $8,500. Because I didn't constantly check up with different companies, now I had them go out and service ACs all the time. It would have been pretty simple for me during any one of those phone calls to say, hey, by the way, just trying to benchmark where we're at, roughly how much would it be for a new unit if we ended up doing that around now. So $2,000 increase. This past summer, I had 2 properties that I was needing to switch out. So you have to switch it out. The tenant needs to be cool. That's perfectly fine. But I was budgeting for 2 times 6,500. I was budgeting for 13,000. I was not budgeting for 17,000. So, couple of phone calls. At the end of the day, I'm still going to have to pay it, but it would have been nice to at least plan for that and budget accordingly. Second thing is a water heater. Same thing here. In the past, it's been probably 4, 5, 6 years since I've had several of them to do, but I used to be able to get water heaters replaced for between $900 and $1,100. Not nearly as bad as an AC, however, that's not fun to split that bill. Last year, again, 2 water heaters within 2 months went out. The bill is now between $1,800 and $2,000. So an extra roughly $1,000 per unit that I was not expecting. Again, I'm not suggesting that you get 30 different bids or waste all your time, but out of all the different times I've called a plumber and an HVAC technician in the last 2, 3, 4 years, I could have easily said, by the way, when you're fixing that unit, just so I can kind of have an idea, what would it be for an AC unit? What would it be for a water heater? That just helps you budget for when something will go wrong versus getting that big bill, that awkward phone call when you're like, well, are you sure it's that much? The AC thing, honestly, I didn't believe it. After 2 years, it increased by $2,000 each. Didn't think that was true. I called 3 different AC companies. They all 3 told me the exact same thing. So, call in there and budget. Third item here. Most of my properties, the tenants are responsible for the yard work, but at the end of the leases in the summer, we do every single rental property that we own. We just make it really nice for the new tenant. It had been 12 months, and I was thinking, oh, it's $25 for a little mow or weed eat or whatever. It's since in my area increased to $50 to $55 for a regular mow and weed eat. And if there's any bit of tree trimming or just branch cutters, anything like that, it starts to go up tremendously. I was amazed with how much we spent last summer in landscaping. Again, I didn't check up with folks until I absolutely needed it. 1 or 2 properties, I said, I don't care what I'm paying. I just told the tenant I'd get it done, so I need someone to get out there. And then when I called around, come to find out, apparently in that 12 months, it had increased by a decent amount. So, same thing here, you're not going to be able to get around the repair, but just knowing what you're walking into should help out quite a bit. Last one here is miscellaneous. The reason I put this on here, the more you're growing with rental properties, it's better to make everything universal. I use the same 2 paint colors for every single property I have. I've got 12 or 13 properties. Out of that, so far, as tenants move, I start using that new paint. And then as tenants from 5 years ago move, I start using that new paint. So out of those properties, only 2 or 3 of them don't have the same paint color, but as soon as those tenants move out, I will be putting that paint color in. Number 1, I know how much it costs. 2, I know exactly where to get it. And number 3, I know exactly what kind it is for touch-ups down the road. Now that doesn't really have anything to do with expenses other than I do know how much a 5-gallon is. It's roughly $180. In addition to that, we use the exact same ceiling fans, exact same door stops, exact same door knobs, and exact same smoke alarms. So I can tell you the price for any ceiling fan, doorknob, door stop, any of those items. I can tell you exactly how much it is before we go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and look for it. So if I'm looking at a property, I could tell you if I need new paint, new flooring, and new doorknobs, all that stuff, I could tell you ballpark of what I'm looking at. For flooring, hopefully you don't have to do this very often, but the flooring that we pay for, it varies on price per square foot, but between the floor and installation, you're looking about $3 to $3.25. Again, I try to be conservative with everything I do. So if it's around $3 to $3.25, I'm gonna go ahead and put $3.50 per square foot, just to shoot on the high end. But bottom line, when you're purchasing a home and you have a rough idea of how much everything costs, it's easier to say, okay, this deal will make sense, or you know what, I need to pass on this and look for a different house. The second thing is just gonna help you plan accordingly better. The last item here that kind of goes along with expenses, try to keep track of 1, warranties, but also 2, how long you've had each. So for AC units, they can last 20 to 30, some even more than 30 years in my area. Water heaters, not so much. They're about 6 to 8 years. So since I've done 2 or 3 water heaters last year and then 2 or 3 a couple years before that, I should know, okay, it should be around blank amount of time before I'm probably gonna have to switch out some more water heaters. So again, that just allows me to help budget and make sure that when it goes wrong, I'm in a better position to handle it. So hope this information helps. I hope you're able to get a couple of good estimates and get some good numbers in line. But if you would, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.